Welcome back to Clear Talk, the financial series right here on Sacramento Smooth Jazz Radio. I'm Michael Andrews. I'm your host, and we're taking a brief pause from the music to bring you clear, useful conversations about money, retirement, insurance, and of course, the financial peace of mind that we all deserve. Some of us know about it, but we all deserve it, right? Today, I'm joined by John Nunes of Fortis Insurance Solutions. As some of you know, John is our in-house financial expert, and he brings 28 years of experience helping people from all walks of life make sense of important financial decisions. And he's been helping a lot of our listeners. Our goal today is simple. It's no hype, no pressure, and no financial noise. You know, we don't want any of that. It's just a straight, thoughtful conversation designed to help you be informed, comfortable, and more confident about the financial road ahead. John Nunes, welcome back to Clear Talk right here on Sacramento Smooth Jazz.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to today's segment. And as always, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. You bring thoughtful insight, clear insight, and a wonderful experience to help our listeners. And so what are we going to talk about today? What's on your mind?
Well, today's topic is a very important one. You know, I've had a lot of the listeners contact me, and they're always talking about different areas of concern that they have. And I've been able to look at these concerns, and we've identified them as what we call in the industry financial blind spots. And what that really is, Michael, is that there's many financial problems that usually don't come from one bad decision. And what happens is they come from risk that people never see coming. They never had it identified, they never measured it, and they never planned around it. So that's what we're going to address today.
Well, great, man. I'm looking forward to that. The blind spots in so many categories of life can just be detrimental. And of course, a financial blind spot, you know, I understand what it is, but when you say financial blind spot, what do you mean?
Okay, well, here's the thing. Most people don't wake up, Michael, one day and decide to create any financial problems. They just don't, right? So many problems grow quietly because the risk that's going to be coming upon them is something that they never visualized in the first place. So it's an exposure that exists, but it's inside the plan that's never been really clearly identified, and it's never been addressed because people don't see it. But here's why they can be so dangerous, is because all of these things, such as, let's say, income interruption, where for some reason you've lost your ability to produce an income, whether it's through injury, whether it's through something that's work-related, whether you got laid off, that's something that most people don't put into consideration. Or how about their current plans? Are they exposed to high taxes? What about the rate of inflation? What about if they have it in the market? You know, market timing, healthcare cost. You know, that's something that a lot of people don't put into their plans when they calculate what's going to be happening with them. Debt drag, lack of liquidity. Bottom line is that the risk that hurts most families is not always the one that they see coming, right? It's always the one that they've never planned for.
Right. And why do these blind spots go unnoticed? What do you think the problem is?
Well, like we had mentioned, you know, these are things that people either don't consider or they just don't see happening. Sometimes it's just something that they were never taught to look for. Because remember, people only do what they're taught to do. And if you were never taught to look for these types of things, you're never going to know that they even exist. And the majority of the time is they do exist, you just don't know about it. Because everybody we've talked to, they have insurance, you know, they have retirement accounts, they have savings, home equity, and they generate a lot of income, but yet they have hidden gaps between those pieces. So it's not always a lack of effort. You know, it's just whether or not there's a coordination within these different pieces that identifies those hidden gaps and those financial blind spots.
And those blind spots, you know, can usually just be life happening, the collapse of a particular market segment, things of that nature. We've seen the mortgage meltdown. We've seen the stock market go down. We've seen 401ks get lost in terms of value. We've seen all of those. So I don't think many people really plan for that. What are some other types of or common blind spots that you see?
Okay, well, the first one I call it income interruption, because you got to remember that income is the engine behind everything that you do when it comes to, let's say, your mortgage payments, trying to eliminate debt, put money in your savings, you know, through accumulation, retirement contributions, whether you have a 401k or you have an outside plan, insurance premiums in your lifestyle. All of this comes into play because of income. Okay, now what if income is interrupted, like we had mentioned earlier, by an illness, injury, disability, a premature death in the family, or even a family emergency? If any of those things happen, the rest of your plan can become stressed very quickly. And that's why many people focus on building assets, but they don't fully protect the income that those funds come from, you know, those assets where the funds come from. So that's why when we talk about our Fortis Legacy Diamond and the 4 different pillars, that's why the protect pillar always comes first, because it's not just about life insurance. It's all about preserving your financial continuity.
I'm speaking with John Nunes of Fortis Insurance Solutions, 28 years experience in this industry. He's been helping a lot of our listeners when it comes to evading and avoiding the financial noise, if you will. And John, you mentioned a moment ago that many people have insurance, they have pensions, they have different retirements, they have home equity, they have so many different components, but there are gaps here and there. And of course, as you mentioned, sometimes illness may come, sometimes different aspects of life happens. And with all those pieces of the puzzle, then they can't put something together still. What should someone do if they're not sure whether they have a blind spot?
Well, what they have to ask themselves is whether that income source that they're relying on would continue if their paycheck stopped for 90 days, 6 months, or even permanently. So what would happen with that income source? What would happen with the income that came in from that source? Then you have to pretty much estimate whether your future retirement income is going to be gross income. Is that how you're basing it on? Or is it your net spendable income after taxes? Because again, taxes is one of those blind spots that people don't realize it exists. It's there. They just don't take that into consideration. Well, your retirement income, can it adjust for inflation? And can it last through a long enough retirement? Because one of the main concerns people have isn't passing away, but it's when they're in the retirement years, will their income last through the retirement? And then you also have to identify how much accessible cash or liquidity that you truly have without relying on things that most people do, like credit cards or having to sell an asset just to generate cash. And then finally, you need to review your debt payments and ask how much of your monthly cash flow could be recovered if you had a better strategy.
Wow. You bring a lot to the table to really help people. And as I'm sitting here, and I understand what you're saying, I get it. I wonder how many people actually have the wherewithal to realize that they could have a retirement gap or financial gap, any type of gap, a blind spot. We don't want any blind spots or gaps anywhere. And we try to cover up any gaps or blind spots when it comes to just air coming in and out of our house. We want to make sure that there's no blind spots there. We want to seal those up. And so I want people to seal things and speak to you. How can they reach you? How can they contact you?
Yeah, Michael, they can reach me at 1-800-900-3150. That's 1-800-900-3150.
John Nunes, Fortis Insurance Solutions, bringing us clear talk right here on Sacramento Smooth Jazz. Really appreciate you, John, coming to us yet again to avoid the financial noise and giving us clear talk.
Thank you once again, Michael, for having me, and I really hope that our audience is learning something today.
Yeah, I think they are. I really believe that. And so we'll catch you next time. Ladies and gentlemen, give John Nunes a call, 1-800-900-3150. Let's get back to the music. This is Sacramento Smooth Jazz, your escape from the noise.